Welcome back. We haven't done fine art in a while on the Mountain Views program here, but that being said, it's always a refreshing and enjoyable thing to have the very thing, the visual arts here in the studio. Of course, we pay quite an homage to the visual arts here in Park City with the Kimmel Arts Fest and tons of amazing, talented artists. This evening, my guest is making his first appearance on the program. I was fortunate to be introduced to him via a mutual friend, and we are going to talk about the participatory, joyful version of contemporary landscape painting with Andrew Skorut. Welcome, sir. How are you?
Awesome.
You feel so far away. We don't typically have a setup like this, but I'm just going to go ahead and get up and extend a hand and say, good to see you, man. Thank you for being here.
Great to be here, Terry.
Tell folks a little bit about your background, because your travels, so to speak, brought you here to Utah, and also in some ways kind of created the artist that you are today.
Yes. I'm Andrew Skorut. I'm originally from Poland. I lived in Utah for about 30 years, or almost, and I'm a contemporary landscape painter.
And talk about your background as far as we were discussing a little bit before we came on camera. I'm always fascinated by, we all color and draw and paint and finger paint and stuff as kids, and whether it be a visual art like that or music or any of the arts that we participated a lot in as little kids, and then it kind of gradually drains away as we get older. Very few people continue to paint beyond maybe 15 or high school years or whatever, and then of that subset of people, then there's people who not only continue to paint but make a living out of it. Talk about your journey with respect to connecting to spending time in front of a canvas and putting pigments on.
Kind of like you said, I started when I was probably about 6 years old. Always had fun painting, and I just never grew up out of it. To me, anything I get engaged into, it has to be fun, it has to be exciting. And I was planning on pursuing different careers in my life. My parents were telling me about going into architecture. At some point I said, it doesn't matter what happens, I want to do painter. If I can be starving artist, as long as I'm having fun, it will be worth it. So I continue to do that. Somehow I make a living doing that, and I'm really glad doing that for about almost 4 years now. So
that's fantastic. Talk a little bit about going from a life of being creative and being artistic, but then having to make a living out of it, which goes maybe a little bit against, as we were talking earlier, I love that you cite fun. It has to be fun. You have to enjoy yourself. I think we have a lot of idea in our minds of the tortured artist, right? No matter how hard it is, how painful it is to get it done, I will make the great art through that. And it seems to me to make a lot more sense to say, let's have fun.
Yes. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, when you do art, you cannot fake art. When you paint, if you don't have fun, the painting will show. So I think part of the reason I have considered myself being successful is that I always had fun painting. So when people look at my paintings, they can feel it, they can respond to it. Somehow it connects with them. So, and part of the process involved in creating a painting is actually generating idea, which for me I think is probably a little bit different than other artists.
And as we're looking at some photographs that you've shared with us here, talk a little bit about your inspirations. I know we're going to see some photographs of you riding your motorcycle.
Yes.
And also
paragliding.
Talk about where the inspiration comes from in those activities.
It started almost by itself. I had fun, and then I attached GoPro to my suit when I ride, and then reviewing the footage, I discovered that this is great. I mean, I can actually capture some amazing footage I could use for the painting, and it kind of went from there. So I've been riding dirt bike for probably 6-7 years. It kind of sometimes gets challenging, especially one of my buddies, he rode Baja 1000. So it can be real challenging. I mean,
spend a lot of time chasing guys
yes,
like that.
Yes, but he's an awesome guy. So I have a lot of fun. And at some point I figure, why not push it a little bit farther? I can get a little bit different perspective on landscape, and I started paragliding. So it's kind of a little bit different level.
As we were joking before, you're kind of you're the human artistic drone. You send yourself up instead.
I guess so. I don't know where my next adventure will take me, but I will take it. So as long as it's fun, I'll go for it. So.
And talk about why landscape as opposed to other. I mean, is that a business thing that people kind of want to put you in a category of, well, what does he paint? Well, he paints landscape. Oh, okay, well then I know what that is. Or he paints broken down buildings in the city or whatever. Were you always drawn to rural visions like this?
No, it's, at the beginning it started as a landscape. I was trying to make some kind of realistic paintings. But when I was studying at the University of Utah, I discovered the process of painting. And I started doing abstract paintings. And the process of painting was really exciting for me. It wasn't about the image itself, but it was more how you apply the paint, what's happening on a canvas, those artistic little moments on canvas. So to me, that was the key point. And then when I graduated, I was invited to a workshop in southern Utah, and I was painting landscape. At that point, I started doing landscape, but in a kind of abstracted way, and the two kind of clicked together, and I kind of work on that concept ever since.
And there must be some real resonance among people too, and obviously this particular canvas here, which we're going to work on in a couple of minutes after the commercial, but there's something elemental and attracting about it, and obviously there must be, in order for you to make a living, there must be some attraction like that lots of people have when they see your canvas, and like I say, just the kind of the yellows and the greens in this particular piece. Like I've felt the energy of those colors, which is a really cool thing to experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of what I've heard when I go to my shows for openings, hearing reaction to people, kind of most of the time is like my paintings make them calm, serene, and quiet, which to me is really interesting because the way those paintings are generated is almost opposite. So there's that huge contrast. There's a lot of energy involved in getting ideas, and then that translates to something that is quiet and serene and peaceful. So.
And I will say that I concur absolutely that as soon as we turned the lights on here in the studio and I could really see not only the colors here but the depth, I felt calm. I felt relaxed, which I'm usually pretty excited on this set here. So to feel calm and to feel those kind of feelings is something unusual, and I connected with it immediately. It's beautiful communication.
Thank you so much.
Let's take a break. And when we come back, you guys, our esteemed artist guest is going to make sure that I participate and hopefully don't mess up this beautiful canvas. Stay tuned. Tune back in because Terry's going to put his smock on. Welcome back. You can't quite see it in this shot, but I have placed my painter's smock on, and we're going to move to the interactive portion of tonight's conversation and participation with artist Andrew Skorut. Welcome back, sir. I put myself into your hands. You tell me how I'm going to participate with this canvas and not ruin it.
Okay. Like I explained a second ago, you cannot mess it up.
Okay.
And I want you to have fun. So what I would like you to do is pick it on a brush, and I already prepared some glazes.
Okay.
Glazes are extremely thin paint. It's almost like watercolors. So,
I see.
And my paintings are based on layers of glazes. Like this painting probably had anywhere from 15 to 20 layers.
Wow.
So I just want you to apply the layer.
I see.
And part of the process in my painting is applying paint, and the second stage is actually manipulating the paint and subtracting the paint. So I want you to do the first part, and I will do the second. So pick in a brush, and you've got 3 glazes to choose from. You pick whichever one you want, and
all right,
and go for it. Have fun.
For some reason, I feel like the smallest brush is probably a good place for me to start. Drum roll, drum roll.
All right, Terry, let's stop right there. I think I was wrong. Yep, that is not turning out exactly as I was hoping.
I mean, look at the beautiful trees and my squiggles.
It's with that process, it's not working. So let's switch a tiny little bit. Okay, let's instead of this brush.
Okay.
I will give you, this is the smallest brush. I don't know why you picked that one, but I will give you my biggest one, okay?
Oh, no, it's...
To make it even more fun.
Okay, fun.
I'm going to make you blindfold.
Oh, okay? Great. You really don't care about this canvas at all, do you?
You cannot really mess it up.
Okay,
so you don't have to worry about it.
I believe you, bud.
The painting is like almost listening to the music. And what I want you to do is like, if you go to the symphony, you see a conductor, and he does motions. Big motion. There's a lot of energy in that. I would like you to do the same thing.
Okay.
You know, just have fun with it. It's too bad we don't have any music here right now, but I mean that probably would help a lot.
I'll listen for the music in my mind.
So let me. If you want to put the blindfold on.
All right. I'm putting myself into your professional hands, so I kind of wanted to put it up here, but I guess that's the whole point. Is I have to put it here.
And I will actually choose the darkest glaze there is.
Great.
So
the blindfold is just to prove that what's about to happen is pure talent. I don't even have to see.
And I will just put you at front of the painting and just have fun.
Okay,
Think
the
of
conductor.
Be a
in the house.
Be a conductor. Be a conductor. You're doing great, Terry. You're actually doing better than I do myself. So. Let me reload the brush.
Okay.
Tiny bit more. Okay, here we go.
Okay. Orchestra, please. At attention.
This is Terry.
And?
This is perfect. Okay. I think you've done a great job.
Have I done great?
Let's take the blindfold.
Do I have to take it off? Can we just end the segment and I don't have to see what I've ruined?
Okay. And take a look what you have done.
Oh no! That's terrible! Come on, Andrew.
I think it's actually better than when you had the previous brush. I mean, when you had the small tiny brush. When you look at those brush strokes, actually there's a lot of energy in it compared to when you something when you go real small.
Yes, sure.
So let's kind of build on this and push it, a little bit farther. I will add a little bit more paint to it, a little bit more glazes, and I will do kind of the same thing. I will just kind of.
Wow. There must be a great freedom in this, though, that there is a continuing process, that this isn't a permanent moment, but rather this is a continuum of subtracting now, eh?
Yeah, so first part is applying the paint. The second part will be subtracting it and kind of moving it around. Part of the process I'm using, I kind of make my own tools who help me kind of generate abstract marks on a canvas. This little piece, I kind of made it about 10 years ago, and it's been kind of my best friend ever since. What I can do is drag the paint and kind of create interesting marks on a canvas.
And in some way, I kind of get that, almost like the layers that you were referring to that are already in this painting, like I can see them more through this process.
Yes. So applying the thin layer of glaze, you're building up the color. The color that you see is based not only, this is not one color, but all the colors that I applied before, which kind of creates really, really interesting effect.
And interesting how the blue that we could see initially is kind of blending in now, and yet the hue is still there. Now, do these glazes, because they're not pure pigment, will they be lighter as they dry?
With oil paints, the color stays the way it is.
I see.
So what I see is how it's going to be when it dries. So if for example, if I don't like something, I mean, I like that blue, but I think this is a little bit too dark over here. I can wipe that glaze totally off and go back to my original color that I started from. So, like I mentioned before, you cannot really mess it up. You're building complexity in a painting. So, which to me is really, really exciting.
It's kind of like glaze means never having to say you're sorry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
I could get down with that kind of painting.
So
very cool,
yeah.
Very cool. We should talk about social media stuff so folks can go and see some of the work that we saw in the first segment of our conversation. Where's the best place for folks to see really beautiful versions of your canvases?
They can see on my website. It's skorut.com, SKORUT.com. I also show in a gallery in Salt Lake City, Gallery 1515. So any of those places is great.
Excellent. Well, I don't think that I've ended a conversation with a fine artist ever on this program by saying, I'm so glad you're having so much fun.
Yeah.
And I feel that vibe, I feel the connection to riding the bike, brap, whatever it is. Beautiful outcomes. It's great to have you here. Thank you so much for demonstrating for us. And Skorut Fine Art and Skorut.com.
Yes.
Excellent. You guys, we're going to take a break. Andrew, great to see you. We're going to come back with some more music from the Adarna, and we better take a look at the weather because #weather.